Hi, it's Meagan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a morning routine that I've been doing for this fall. Now that we've started homeschool and have kind of started getting into a good swing of things, here's what my mornings typically look like. So this morning, I actually woke up around 7, which is a little bit later than I usually do. I was up late the night before finishing up some canning projects. So I slept in a little bit and I just got up, showered, and then got dressed, did my hair, put on some jewelry, brushed my teeth, those kinds of basic things. This usually takes me only about 15 or 20 minutes tops, including my shower. I'm a pretty quick shower and it doesn't take me too long to get ready. So after that, I always make my bed and open up the curtains. Now that it's getting to be fall and nice weather in the morning, I also open up the windows. Then I head downstairs with my basket of random things I need to take downstairs. And then I meet my family at our kitchen table where we do some individual devotional and scripture study in the mornings. We just are all together at the table while we do those on our own. And then after that, my kids get going on their chores. They start by unloading the dishwasher. While they're working on that, I'm unloading that basket that I brought downstairs and reloading it with things I need to take back upstairs. And then I'm getting breakfast ready for my kids. So this morning, they're having just some breakfast casserole that I made for the week. And I'm just going to reheat that and then get some fruit ready for them. This is pretty typical breakfast. I try to make sure that they have some kind of protein and usually a fruit of some kind with their breakfast. And I also lots of times will make something ahead that we just have ready to go for the week. So I'm not having to home make breakfast every single morning. And then my husband also does the same thing. He just eats whatever I've made for the week and we'll just reheat that up. I don't usually eat breakfast. Some mornings, if I am really hungry, I will. But for the most part, I generally don't eat breakfast and just get it ready for my kids. So now that they're eating breakfast, I'm putting away the dishes that my kids couldn't reach, in our upper cupboards. So they just kind of set them on counters where there's space. And then while they eat, I kind of go through and put them away. I also stop to fill up waters and do just these kinds of tidying up, cleaning up. Sometimes I'll start to load the dishwasher if I have a few more extra minutes. But this morning we just had quite a few dishes that were still out, as well as some of my canning projects. So I kind of had to work around those while I was getting everything put away. I also started getting things out and ready to pack for my kids for their sports classes that they have. I film this on a Tuesday, and Tuesday afternoons are when they have their sports classes. It's at the same gym, and they just go back to back. So we're there for about 2-ish hours. So I like to make sure that I pack my kids a pretty decent sized snack. My youngest daughter has class second, so she eats her snack while my oldest daughter's doing her class. And then after my oldest daughter's class, she is usually pretty hungry, and so she'll eat her snack after her class. So here is my youngest. She chose a Baby Bell cheese for her protein, a mandarin orange for her fruit, and then she had a Pirate's Booty, a fruit leather, and a protein granola bar. And then my oldest daughter chose a Go-Gurt for her protein, a Pirate's Booty for a snack, an orange for her fruit, a fruit leather, and then she chose some fruit snacks for her last kind of random snack. So after we got that taken care of, my kids had finished eating breakfast and they finished doing their other chores, which are wiping down their bathrooms. Then they get started on some of their independent schoolwork that they can do. So my oldest works on writing, handwriting. If she finishes those, she'll start working on her independent practice for math or language arts. But usually she just finishes her handwriting and or her writing book. And then my youngest has a few workbooks that she likes to work through. And so while they are doing that, I'm just finishing tidying up the family room and the kitchen. Like I said, I was working late the night before on finishing up some canning projects. And so lots of things that I do at nighttime didn't quite get done. So I was just tidying the family room, putting things away, finishing tidying the kitchen after breakfast. If you see me wearing a wrist brace, that's because I have had some carpal tunnel ever since I had my youngest. That comes off and on, and it was just bothering me that day. So I just put that on to help. And then I was getting preschool ready for my youngest. I was a little bit behind in my planning, so I just kind of had to look that day to see what we were doing. And then after that, we got started on our morning basket. So we went through and did a daily devotional time. We did a social emotional learning lesson. And then we go through a bunch of read alouds. So we read from Ranger Rick. We read a couple of poems. We read from the Julia Rothman Wildlife Anatomy is what we're currently reading through. And then we go through and do our other read alouds. So right now we're doing Meet Felicity and Stuart Little. And then today I also added in our science during that time as well. So we read through our science lesson for the day. And after that, I went over with my oldest daughter and we worked on her lessons that she needs my help with. So we had been sick the week before, and so we were behind one lesson. So today we got caught up and did 2 language arts lessons, and then just our 1 regular math lesson. So I do the actual lesson portions with her for language arts and math, and then I let her do the lesson practice for each of those, as well as her independent practice for each of those, and then finishing up any writing that she has. After I do the individual lessons with her, I go back and do preschool with my youngest daughter. She didn't really want to be filmed today, so I didn't film that part, but here I am just cleaning up the aftermath of preschool, which was mostly, we worked on a letter poster today and some counting. So I'm just putting those things away. My oldest daughter is still working on her school. I finished cleaning up from preschool, and so I finished planning for the rest of my preschool week since I hadn't done that quite yet. And then while I was at it, I also planned through my next unit, which will be the next 2 weeks for my preschooler, and just kind of got my planner ready for the next couple of weeks. With my oldest, I kind of plan at the end of the week based on how far we've gotten that week. Then I make my plans for the next week. So I was just getting like my stickers ready and my labels and stuff. So that way when it's time to schedule and plan her school, I'll be ready to do that later this week. After that, I just finished loading some dishes in the dishwasher that were in the sink left over from last night, since I didn't get to that before school started. And by that time, it was lunch. So I was getting lunch ready for my kids. My oldest daughter wanted a bagel. My youngest daughter wanted more of the breakfast casserole. So they each got those things that they wanted. And then they each got some watermelon and some zucchini bread that I had made a couple days before. So that's kind of my morning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.